Welcome to another episode of the Story of Podcast, where we pretty much learn everyone's story. I'm your host, Laquam, and today I have
Chahat.
Chahat. I'm so excited for today's conversation. Pretty much, I want to start with like how we met, things like that. We're gonna like go from like the beginning of time of your life and kind of just learn like all about you. So let's start with like how we met.
Yeah. We met, I think, like 3 years ago, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Laquam was in West Hartford at the time, and I don't even know. I think I found you through Instagram.
Yeah.
And you just started out at the time, I think so. And I got my first wax ever from her. So shout out to her forever. Like, shoot, I will never forget her.
Well, I didn't realize that was your first
That
wax.
was my first time.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'd never done a wax before, and and never left since.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, first of all, thank you for being open to like coming on my pod.
Of course.
And I've really been wanting this for like a good 2 years now, and I've finally been able to like conceptualize like how I want it to go, how I want it to flow. And I just want you to know, and everyone else to know, like I'm choosing people, at least to start, specifically like people that are fascinating to me. I feel like everyone like has a story. Everyone has a story, and everyone like, I don't know, to me it's really exciting to just learn things about people, whether they're big or small. Like, it's kind of cool to me how like two people can be like the same age, maybe from the same place, and have like completely different lives. So yeah, that's why I brought you on, because I think you're pretty dope. So let's start with something kind of like easy-ish, I guess. What's one of your like earliest memories?
My earliest memories, I can get a little deep about this. I feel like my earliest memory is watching my parents get married, but I wasn't around. I was obviously not here.
Yeah.
But every time I watched my parents' wedding videos since I was a kid, I recognize people that my parents are always like,
Yeah.
how do you know them?
Yeah.
And I don't.
That's cool.
But I've always had like this dream or something that I really felt like I chose my parents to be my parents.
Mhm.
So that's like probably my earliest memory that I have is their wedding somehow, some way.
What do you mean by like you feel like you chose your parents, like spiritually?
Spiritually, yeah.
That's
Chose
awesome.
my parents. I do believe in God. I am Hindu and Sikh, but I believe in just one God. I will go into any place of worship, and I just pray in my own way. But I've read the Quran, I've read the Bible, I've read our guru's books, and basically like the message that I've gotten from all is that there's always like a prophet sent down from God. So, you know, Jesus, son of God, there's Muhammad, the prophet, the gurus, there were sons of gods. Yeah, I feel like God gave me a choice, and I vividly remember like it was like cut 4 layout scene of like 4 weddings going on, and that being, it was like a he, but I don't remember the sound of his voice, but he asked me if like which family do you want to go into, and I saw my parents getting married, and that's why I feel like it's all kind of connected. So I'm really like spiritually inclined and engaged with myself. So
Wow.
it's kind of got deep really quick, but
Really quick, but I love that. Like, oh my gosh, that's even more, you're even more fascinating now. Okay, so that's pretty dope. So you're spiritual. I love that. Clearly your spirituality started at like a young age, would you say?
yes,
Yeah.
it's always been instilled in me.
Yeah. Did you always go to like, not necessarily just like church, but like something like that since you were a kid?
So I've been going to the temple since I was a kid, but one of my best friends also, her dad's a pastor at a Christian church. So I did youth service for like 7-8 years, and I really enjoyed the church as well.
Okay. Are you an only child? Do you have siblings?
I have a little brother. We're 6 years apart. He's 22 now. I'm 27. I always wanted a sibling. I kind of tell him every day that like the only reason he's here is because of me, because I convinced my parents to have him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a pretty proud big sister, and I'm very protective. And we have a kind of a unique kind of relationship, but it's gone stronger since we've grown up.
Yeah. Okay. Getting back to like growing up and your parents and things like that. So are they still married?
Yes,
That's
my
nice.
parents are 30 years deep. Their anniversary is coming up this December, so shout out to them.
Nice, shout out to them. How do you feel like that's helped to mold your like idea of relationships and stuff?
It's high standards. I haven't been that lucky in relationships in that sense of kind of like comparing every man to my dad, and I think it's not comparable probably. It's hard to find men like that, I guess.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just in my single girl era, and you know, just taking for who you are and just taking it from there.
Yeah.
I think it's important not to have so many expectations of people. I think I've been disappointed in the past.
Yeah, but I think that like kind of comparing who you're gonna like potentially marry, you know, to your dad, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like,
No.
I think it's kind of great that you do have a dad example who's great, who you can compare to,
Right.
because then you kind of weed out like people who aren't worth it, you know?
Yeah,
Like-
don't settle.
Yeah, definitely not. And I love that you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have your earliest memory. Let's get into like elementary school years, like little Chahat. Like, how do you feel like what school did you go to? Like,
So I was actually born in Toronto,
Mhm.
so I went to school over there. Our school system's a little bit different. Like, we don't have middle school. It kind of went from like kindergarten to 8th grade. So like all the grades were in there. I'm very close with a lot of my friends from elementary school. My oldest friend being, we're like 22 years deep. And I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, Canada is very different than the US. I've gone the best of both worlds. And when we did move, which was my freshman year of high school from Canada, I got dragged out. I
What do
did
you
not
mean?
want to, like, my parents.
oh, like they
where are
had
you
to drag
moving?
you out of there.
Yeah. What do you say? Like, we're moving to where? Like Connecticut? Like, what is this? Like, I don't.
Do you know why they chose Connecticut?
My dad just got a new job and
Oh, I see.
more opportunities, better money, so
Yeah.
he thought it was a better fit for the family. But coming from Toronto, like the 6, like, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go to Farmington.
No, I feel that.
Like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm really glad that they made that decision. I have the best of both worlds. I have best friends in both countries. I go back to Canada every 6 months. That's my home. But it was a big change coming here. America is really like how it is in the movies with the high school and homecoming
Really?
and football. Like, we didn't have that in
Mhm.
Canada at all.
Wow. So, is there something similar but different, or is it like completely just not even a thing?
They have sports, but just there's not as much school spirit as we
I
have
see.
here.
Yeah.
You feel like, you know, homecoming queen, king, like you'd only see that in movies until I moved here. And like, I remember the first day of school, like, I'm a new sophomore, like, I'm the new girl, like, everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, I have to make a friend by 7th period because that's my lunch. Because otherwise I'm gonna be like Mean Girls. I'm gonna go sit in the freaking bathroom and
Yeah.
just chill out there.
And was that your experience?
No. I actually made a friend by 7th period and she invited me to lunch. So shout out to Maddie.
Yes, I love that for you.
So,
So, before I ask more about like once you moved here, how was like school there? Like, what were like the hours? Like, did you go like the same sort of times you go to school here? Did you like take a bus? Did you take a train? Like, I want to know. I've
Yes.
never been to Canada.
you need to. It's like, it's a really good space. You feel safe. People are really nice. It's exactly what you think it is. School was just it was a little bit late. Like, here we started at 7:30 in the morning and we would get out of school by 2:30. There it was more like 8:30, get out of school by 3:30. We'd only have like 4 periods that were 1.5 classes
wow.
each, or I think it was 5.
Even at that age?
Yeah, so like
Oh,
freshman, that was freshman year. That wasn't
Yeah.
for elementary, but freshman
Okay.
year. I did like Canada in the sense that like we had more accountability, like responsibility, in the sense that like if we skip class, we could leave the property without getting chased down like how we do here. Like, you can't leave the school property, you can't leave the grounds. Like, there we could, if you have a car, you could drive for lunch somewhere, you could go out with your friends, you could walk around and go to the nearby store.
Yeah.
So security in that sense, just felt like more open and more safe. Whereas when I came here, we have like hall monitors and they're on their walkie-talkies, and like if I leave like one step, they're like all like on me, like where'd you go, like detention. But I liked, you know, I saw the difference between the U.S. and Canada in terms of safety and concern, and yeah, so that was like the big difference I saw.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from like those years, once you got here, because I have always wanted to ask. Well, by the way, random thought. I have a lot of random thoughts, so please excuse me in advance. Have you ever heard of this show? It's on Netflix. What's it called? Never Have I Ever.
Never have I ever. What is it about? I have, but like
it's like this little Indian girl who like moves here. And,
oh
like, she
yes,
goes to
I
school.
love that show.
I think that show is so cute, and like some of like her like vibes and stuff reminded me a little bit of you.
Yes, I love that. I forgot.
But...
I'm trying to remember her name.
Yeah, I can't think of her name.
Davy.
Yes,
Davy.
Oh gosh.
We love Davy.
So when you came here and started going to school, was you did make a friend, so that's good. But like, was it kind of like a big culture shock, like how it kind of was for her?
No, I've always been, my friends have been super diverse always. I haven't really stuck with the Indian crowd as much.
Mm-hmm.
There's, they sometimes try to suck me in, like, but I'll hang out with them and stuff, but that's not my like main crew kind of. If you see my friend circle, like it's all colors, all from all different places, and I like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I've also though been very in tune with my culture. Like I watch all our movies. I know 2 languages. I enjoy like dressing up in our outfits. I love our food. My mom makes that shit every day. Like I eat it every day. So and I go to the temple. Like I enjoy all aspects of it. And like even when I think about having a partner and like it, it could be whatever color, wherever you come from. But I still want that person to be part of who I am. So it wasn't as much of a culture shock. I think it was more for my friends that I made here in Connecticut. I don't think we have that much of a big Indian community. We do, but compared to other states, we don't. I think it was more of a culture shock for them because they always kind of had like, oh, Indians are like this or Indians are like that. Sometimes there are negative connotations like, oh, we smell, our food smells, or curry this, curry that, right? So I've gone that gist of the side before, but it's usually when they come into my house, people really love coming to my house. And,
I feel like you are like a good host, you and your family.
Yeah, we love hosting. We're all about the dinner parties.
I get that vibe from you.
I come to my house, we'll host you. I've gotten that from my parents for sure.
Yeah.
And I always want everybody to have a good vibe and good time.
And that's what I like. One of the things I like about you too. It's just like, even just coming to your appointments, it's just like, let's have a great time today.
Yeah, let's just have a good time. Let's just lay here and let's talk about some good times.
Yeah. Okay, so I know that you love to travel, and you're definitely like a rounded, well-versed person in my opinion. Do you feel like, and like even like with like your friends and stuff like that, so do you feel like that diversity that you have came after traveling or before traveling? Like, how do you feel like you became like as diverse as you are?
I think before traveling, like actually no, I've been traveling since I was like 6 months old. My parents have always kind of took us on family vacations. My first flight was when I was 6 months old to India, and since then we went every other year. I think just by being in places like that with my parents, it kind of opened my eyes like, hey, there's more to just Canada. Like our community that we lived in was more white dominated. We had like 3 Indian kids, maybe like 5 Asians and like 1 black kid in our school. Like that's it. And I think from that, I also was like crazy on YouTube and just the internet when the computer came out, and I used to have like a desktop in my room, and I just love doing research on different things, and I've always kind of fascinated by the U.S. and their trends and like what's going on, and I always wanted to, like in my head, I'm like, I always wanted to live in New York City, like since I was little, and I did it, and that was awesome. Because that was always like my dream, and I think like I used to go to New York every year, and then I'd be like, oh my god, there's so many people, like so many different, and then since then, kind of like my traveling, like I need to have it like in my routine somewhere somehow, at least like every 2 months.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, how often do you think you travel a year?
Yeah, like maybe like 6-7 times a year. And I enjoy it. I just did solo travel last year for the first time, and was in London for 3 months and lived alone out there, and again, another culture shock. It's so much more different than Canada and the US. But I just love learning more about people, their experiences, what made you how you are now.
And that's how the Story Of was born, because I love all that stuff too. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a big people like person. I love to like learn about people.
Me
and
too.
just you know, and then I kind of shape my opinion of them and myself and you know what we are here now.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so you travel. What else do you like to do?
I've been trying to figure out a hobby. Like lately, I'm like, should I do pickleball? Should I do this? I like playing soccer sometimes by myself. I started doing that like a month ago. I used to play
Serious
soccer.
question: how do you play soccer by yourself?
Oh, just kicking the ball around and just doing weird things with it, and just, kicking in the goal in different types of ways, and
Gotcha. Like practice.
Yeah, just practice. And then I also just like, honestly, I just like going right now. Me and my friend have been going to the dock like every day, and just by the water and just like being there for sunset and just like kind of meditating. So that's, and then I like working out. I think working out is important. I didn't really ever think it, I wasn't really obsessed with working out for a long time. I've always played sports, but then, I'm like, no, this has to be part of my routine forever. Like, I need to have an active lifestyle. I want to live long. I want to like, do healthy living. I've seen people like deter over the years, and I'm like, I don't want to be them. And gotta make it somehow. I gotta make working out something that I like to do, and I've been able to figure out that path for myself. So I'm just kind of looking forward to that journey and kind of finding things that I love making my body move.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me how like now that we're like nearing our 30s, we're kind of like reverting back to like some of our original forms of joy, and like I don't know, because I've been doing that too. Like I've been like, I don't know, just getting back to reading, getting back to writing poetry. I used to write poetry. I was in like a poetry club and everything. So I've been just doing all these things, yoga again. Like, so yeah, I think our 27s to 30s are interesting times.
No, like reading, I did not pick up a book. Like, when did I graduate? 2018. I didn't pick up a book until last year.
Yeah.
Like, and forever. I mean, and then like when I was in the book, I was like, this is like better than a movie. Like, I'm making up all this, like my brain is working. Like I'm actually like imagining things because I haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
So I like the reading part. I've been trying to like read a book every 2 months, like, have a consistent book.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's get back to high school time. You said you played sports. Which sports did you play, and which one was like your favorite to play?
Just soccer. I just played soccer in high school, and I played it when I was younger as well, on a city team in Canada. Soccer is great. I don't like running or anything, but I do like having a purpose to run, and there's like a reward at the end of it, which is the goal.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I think the US is much more competitive in terms of soccer than in Canada than where I was. And it's always been just a fun game for me, and like have some team building, and just being with the girls.
Yeah.
Something to do. And I wish nowadays there was like teams of older women.
Yeah.
Like not on a competitive level kind of, but just to have a sense of community, and I feel like that's lacking in Connecticut.
Yeah.
In that term. But I hope to see it more.
Yeah.
Maybe I can start it. Who knows? But
right. Maybe you can start it, or maybe just saying it, you might be like manifesting.
Right.
You're gonna get those different
those vibes.
little things.
Like,
yeah,
you play soccer. You play soccer too. Okay.
Right. Literally. Let's be friends.
Exactly.
So you played sports in high school. Were you in like any clubs or anything?
I did theater.
Nice.
I was in a play. I love like just being dramatic, and I'm a Leo, so.
Yeah. What play was it?
It was Get Smart. Have you ever heard of Get Smart? Yeah, it's like with the spies, like the two spies. There's like a guy and a girl. I always liked public speaking and like just being in center stage, like center of attention. I think a lot of my friends would also explain, if they had to describe me, they'd be like, I'm the life of the party. I like the attention on me. And I've had a conversation with my friends about it, and they're like, we're okay with that. I'm like, okay, cool.
Good, at least you guys know. When's your birthday?
July 26th is coming up.
Oh my gosh, my sister's is 2 days after you.
Okay, she's a Leo.
Yeah. What are you gonna do for your birthday?
No idea. I don't know. Last year I was in London. I don't know. This year I might keep it low key. Or then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a limo and a yacht. We're gonna go to New York. We're gonna do a dinner.
Yeah.
We're gonna get everybody on it. I have no idea. So, TBD. TBC.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be lit no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, so in high school, how did you, compared to now, making friends as an adult, how did you in high school kind of make your friends or find your friend group?
They found me. I was a new girl. Everybody's like, who are you?
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. But I think, how did I make my friends? I think it's just my personality. It's very welcoming. I think people feel very comfortable with me. I always try to think about everybody else's feelings too, just how they're feeling. I know there's been a few times when if I don't know somebody or if I'm around someone, and if I feel like they're not having a good time, or I'm gonna make sure they're having a good time. I'm gonna go out of my way to get a smile on their face, and I think that's what a lot of people like about me, and I think that's how I attract my friends, because I care about whoever, if you're in a room with me, and you're not, if my mood and your mood are not the same, I need, because otherwise my mood is gonna go down, and you don't want that to happen. So.
Yeah. So do you feel that your energy controls the room, or the opposite?
I think their energy controls me, where I need to do something about it to make the energy right for everybody, and I just, at the end of the day, I just want everybody to be happy. That's it. And if they're not, what can we do? What can I do to help?
Okay. So after high school, you went to college.
Yes.
Where'd you go?
I went to University of Ottawa in Canada, so I went back to Canada. And one of my best friends from Toronto also went there. So we kind of at least I knew somebody there. We kind of made friends that way by being together.
Yeah.
School was a great experience. I went for political science and economics. Ottawa is the capital of Canada, so the parliament is around there, and I interned there for 2 years. So there was a lot of international students, so I made a lot of friends from around the world, and I think that was the best thing ever. And I still am in touch with them. And now since I Afrobeats, that's where I found my passion, and oh my god, I was what is this song? Who's WizKid? I remember 2014, I was who is this guy? And I have so many friends from Ivory Coast in South Africa now, and that's I haven't been there yet, but that's number one on my bucket list to go. But school was great. I enjoyed school. I had a great time. I did well in the classes I wanted to. I did bad in the classes I didn't care for. But it all worked out at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, so another random question. Do you know where your name derives from?
I know what it means. It means desire, affection, love. It's in a lot of Indian Bollywood songs. If you listen to it, you'll hear my name. It's an uncommon name. A lot of Indian people compliment me on my name when I say my name to them, just because they're we never even thought about it, but it's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
I've never met somebody with my name though yet, and I'm waiting for that time, because I think that would be cool. But I've looked up on Facebook, and there's a lot of them, but never met one in real life. So.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you graduate college?
2018.
And then, are you in work now doing what you went to school for?
Absolutely not. I moved to Montreal actually after college, and Montreal is all French speaking space, and I was there for a year. I worked in a fashion company. I worked under the CEO, and I got to play around with a lot of hats in the industry, and kind of be everywhere at all times. It just was a lot of I didn't have a good work-life balance.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
More work or more play?
It was more work. There was obviously great oh, I'm going to a fashion show, I'm gonna but it's still work at the same time.
Yeah.
I didn't have time for myself. I wasn't able to read, I wasn't able to meditate. I kind of went to work and went to dinners after work, and but it was all with clients, and then I'd come home and go to sleep, so there was not really any self-care, and I realized that, and I'm I'm just gonna burn out at some point, because I just like this is too early for me, and then I come home late, like I don't have a life. Like I'm not even talking to my friends, like I'm just, it's all work. So
Yeah.
and honestly, I love Montreal, but I'm not a big fan of some of the French people there, so I had to be like, I'm going back home.
Yeah.
So then I came back to Connecticut. I was here for a couple months, and then I moved out to New Jersey, and I worked in New York for 2.5 years, and that was like that was like my dream come true.
Yeah.
And my parents, like my dad didn't really think I was gonna get a job here, just because he was like, you have a Canadian degree, like you don't have much work experience, but hey, proved him wrong. So.
Yeah, you got it.
And now I'm here, and now I'm in management consulting. It's honestly, school just teaches you like the tools and resources on what you need in life to succeed, but I think like networking is really your net worth, and just asking questions, talking to people, their experiences, and then trying to figure out your avenue from there. I don't know if this is going to be my career forever, but I mean, I just know that every year I'm just stepping up on the ladder.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters to me.
That's the best way to be. Honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So graduated, got to live in your dream place. How did it feel like to be in that moment in time?
It was surreal. Like when I got my apartment, I had a nice view of the city skyline, and I was like, wow, like I'm looking at the city that I've always talked about since I was little. And it was nice to be on the Jersey side, just because like, I go into the city, it's all crazy and busy, but then when you come back and I would look at it, there is now like a feeling in me. I haven't like figured it out though, but when I was moving out and when I was looking at the city, I was like, I want to be in the city though. Like I want to be where the hustle and bustle is now, instead of being on the outside. So I don't know, maybe my next move might just be in the city.
Yeah.
And really being
I can see
in
that
it
for you.
So we'll see where it takes me.
Yeah. So once you decided to come back and do that whole thing, were you sad when you left? Was it like just the best choice, so you're like kind of okay with it? Plus it's right there, so you can always go back.
It was actually because of COVID. So like when COVID hit, I had just re-signed my lease. It was when COVID hit? March. So I just re-signed my lease in February, and then COVID hit, and then they were like, you don't need to come into work, you can work from home. And I tried to get out of my lease because it was signed for a year. I couldn't do that. It was really depressing every time I was there. Nobody was outside, like, everybody was just cooped up. And I remember I saw a body coming out of my building, and I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm leaving. And then I came back to Connecticut.
You saw a body coming out of your building, what does that mean?
Like from COVID, like somebody died in the apartment building, and I was like, I'm just gonna go, like, just being in Connecticut with my parents, like we're isolated, like we're just in our house, like I don't have to see any of that, like I can go walk in the woods like by myself, and like I don't have to see anything crazy happening. Everybody was just sad in New York and Jersey, like it was pretty bad. So I just paid for the year, didn't really live there. I would try to kind of like go back if I need to get some stuff, but once it was over, I was like, I'll just move back in with my parents. So I'm 28, about to be 28, living with my parents, no shame though.
Yeah, definitely no shame, because at least you've had like plenty of successes, and this is just like a stepping stone. It's just like, sometimes I feel like what adults have to do to just get to their next place.
And I'm super grateful that my parents have always had their doors open for me. And I'm living with my grandparents now too, so it's like, when else am I ever gonna do that?
Literally.
Right, like when? So.
Yeah. Good, you just gotta appreciate, like, all
what
things.
life is now. And I'm super grateful, and I love my life, so.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, do you think that, and I kind of hate when people ask me this, should I even ask it?
Just do it now.
No. Disregard that question. Next question. So, how like people have like the stereotype that they think that like Asians and Indians are like really smart.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's true for you? Or do you think, because I think some other cultures are just more disciplined than Americans, so they become smarter because they study and shit. It's not like, I don't know if it's like a thing, but like, what do you think?
I do think for Indians and Asians, I can speak on Asians, I feel like a little bit. I think it's part of their culture. It is discipline a lot. Like my dad, he comes from a family of 6 sisters, and he's the only son. He's the youngest son. And my grandparents lived in a village. Like, you know, it was hard for them. He said that they would have like one bed for the kids, and he's like with 6 sisters, and they had one fan. So he's like, we'd rotate throughout the night on the bed. But he was the only son, so my grandparents kind of like put all their life savings into him and was like, what do you want to do? Like, they were like, you want to be a doctor, engineer, choose one. That's it. That's like the only choice you can have. And that's kind of how it was back in the day. Not anymore, but that's how it was. And my dad chose the engineer route. And he's super gifted, super smart, got a full scholarship abroad, and kind of like, you know, his story is like he came to Canada, he'd only $200. He's like, I never seen snow in my life. Like, I had no idea. I like, when I came outside, I slipped. Like, I was like, what the hell, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to get. I do think that in Indian culture, it's just the discipline and the importance of education is so like trendy, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, even when every time I went to India and I used to be with kids that are my age, I would look at their freaking books and I'd be like, I don't know what you guys are learning. Like, we do not learn this.
Yeah.
But I think Americans, we have I think there's a different type of like drive and like willpower and freedom to be whatever you want and go for it, where I feel like in India, you know, it's just so like centralized on education that people don't really explore actual things that they are good at other than that. And a lot of people feel like they're less than if they don't do well in school, which I do think the mentality there has to change.
Yeah,
because you could be successful at a lot of different things.
Yeah. Do you feel like your parents allowed you the freedom to like be whatever you wanted to be?
Yes, they did. I mean, they always did make me like, you know, in the summertime, like, hey, you have to like do this work, school work, this at least for an hour a day, but you can go play all day. But I had to do certain things. My brother was in Kumon, and God, I wasn't. But I remember he used to hate that. Like, so they would put like certain things on us to be like, hey, if you want to go and hang out with your friends, you're gonna have to do this for an hour. And I'm like, okay, whatever, just get it over with. But other than that, no, they've always been supportive in whatever I want to do or whatever my brother wants to do, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, and I even appreciate that like mentality of like, okay, do this for an hour and like do whatever you want for the rest of the day, because I feel like, so one of the things that I think is fascinating about you and what I like admire about you is that about you, and clearly it comes from how you were raised. Like, I love that you, from my perception, work really hard, do what you have to do, but like you have like so much fun, and it's like you always make sure your shit's together and then you go have your fun, and like clearly, you know, that started really young, and I feel like that's a balance that I'm training myself to have, but I wish that like I was raised that way more. Like, it was kind of a little more of a free-for-all because I didn't do anything crazy. So she's just like, oh, I know she'll do her schoolwork, you know, when she wants. Like, but I like that, like, I don't know, I just like that structure.
You gotta give yourself more credit because that willpower came from you to, like, you know, even if your parents weren't, or somebody wasn't there for you to tell you to, hey, do this, like, you did it yourself, because give yourself some credit. Like, where you are now, like, you're super inspiring. Like, Mom, like, you're super independent, and like, your shit is always together, like, and you always have different ideas, and I'm like, I need to like start like, you know, getting more into my creative space, because every time I come to you, you're like, oh, I'm about to go do this. I'm like, oh, and then you do it. I'm like, oh shit, you did it. Like, right now, like, I swear, I was just like, I was just with her a week ago, and like, she's like, we're gonna do this. I'm like, all right.
And then I'm like, yesterday, hey, do you want to? Because so I asked 2 others, and you were like already on my list, but like, I don't know why I chose them to go. Like, they just responded first. I think I honestly, because I just talked to you about it, I didn't want to like text you again right away. But then when they freaking canceled yesterday, I'm like, fuck, I need someone, and I need someone interesting, because I don't want to be a bore snorer. And yeah, you're around, and I'm like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah,
like,
it works out.
And yeah, I do just like to, I don't know, do whatever I set my mind to. Like, I do like just being like a free spirit is how I describe it, and just, I don't know, just doing fun shit.
No, you're a woman of your word. I really admire that. Like,
and I also don't like to like just talk the talk, but like walk the walk, you know?
You know, fake it till you make it, but I do live by that, fake it till you make it, but I really admire the way that you move. Like,
oh, thank you.
want to be like her.
I appreciate. I want to be like you. I want to be traveling and shit. Like, I love that.
It's coming for us. It's all manifesting it.
Who do you think you are like today?
Today, yeah, you know, I'm going through like kind of like a quarter life crisis at the moment, a little bit. I'm about to turn 28. Since I was like a little girl, I always thought I would be somewhere else at this point, honestly.
Same.
Like, I thought I was gonna be married. I thought I'd be like 3 kids deep. I was gonna have a house. I was gonna have a great husband and all this like jazz. And now I'm like, nope. I'm not there. I'm happy though where I'm at. I'm happy I'm not where I thought I was gonna be. I think I have a lot more to learn about myself. I'm at a point now where I don't think about marriage. I don't think about like my significant other, whoever that's gonna be. It's just like loving me.
Yeah.
And like love yourself first. I never kind of put that concept into motion ever in my life. I always used to love them more, or whoever I was with, whether it was regardless of the nature of the relationship, with friends or a significant other or family. I'm putting myself first now, for whatever selfish needs I have, and I think that's okay.
Definitely.
But I'm here in my soft girl era. I'm here I don't want to be stressed. I want to be at peace.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring in anything that doesn't bring me peace, and if it doesn't bring me peace, then like you can get out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very like, I know what I want, kind of in a sense.
I was gonna say, what do you want?
I want to sleep at night, and I want to wake up and do my thing and make my money and like go about my day, and I want to have good people around me, regardless again nature of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
People that can elevate me, people that inspire me, to just do better in life, and like honestly whatever fate has for me, like it'll manifest in itself. I think the universe always conspires to get you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And just like how you were talking about the other day about like prayers and really like thanking God and acknowledging the things that are happening in your life. Since you said that, I was like, I need to give more credit to like who's up there,
Mm-hmm.
for what I do have in life and what I'm achieving as I go on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, for some strange reason, though, I've been thinking a lot about having a daughter. Like, a lot. Kind of how you said, like, you spiritually chose your parents. I feel like I'm, like, choosing my daughter. Like, every day I'm, like, with her, like, in my head somehow. Like, yeah, she's learning how to, like, eat on her own and stuff right now. Like, that's what was in my head today. But I've been thinking about that a lot. But besides that, I feel like we're kind of in the same boat. Like, I don't know, just, like, wanting to be able to sleep peacefully and wake up and do my thing and like be supported through it all.
Exactly.
And
That's
it.
Simple life. That's it.
It's so easy.
That's it. And then like I will give it right back.
Literally.
Whoever's around. Right now I love my family and friends like a lot. I put a lot of importance on them. They've been there for me through everything, and I always want to show my appreciation and kind of like water you back.
Yeah.
So I love it. And you know what's crazy? Yesterday, so I was telling my friend about, because I was like, oh my God, like this girl, and I was trying to tell her about you. And then I was like, it's so crazy. I was like, she told me she didn't want kids. And I said this yesterday, because I remember you had a conversation, you're like, I don't know if I want kids. It was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just saying to my friend, I was like, I've told her, I was like, she had a mini, like her. I was like, that would be so cute. And then now for you to bring this up.
Yeah, that is kind of wild.
It's kind of wild. I swear I could call her right now and be like, didn't I say this yesterday?
That is kind of wild, because I was literally having like the most in-depth like thoughts about her, like driving here. It was just so crazy. Like I was honestly about to cry, because I'm like, wow, like I'm just gonna literally cry every time I wake up to her and everything. So it's gonna be like, it's like
I'm just gonna pop out of pregnancy. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but so I feel like I have this. I've always had this desire. So I've always had that desire naturally. I think life, especially in recent times, have like molded me to feel like I don't want a kid, or like I just don't need a kid. But like genuinely, I've always wanted one. And like I don't know if you know, but like my mom passed when I was young. And like we were besties, and I feel like me and my daughter will be besties. I also feel like I'm destined to have a daughter, like no matter what. So yeah, I don't know. It's just been like
We'll
a
see what the
really
future
strong
holds.
feeling. Yeah, this is insane. We'll probably be sitting here next time with like
little bump, little bump.
So what would you say current day is like one of your ways to like find peace and like relaxation? I know you've been going to the doc lately, but like anything like, well, besides just like peace, but like connecting into like your spiritual side. Like, do you pray? Do you journal? Do you like what do you do?
So I haven't been praying recently. I don't know why. I've been going through some weird phase, but I've been telling myself in the past, couple of weeks that I should pray. When I do have anxiety, I do pray.
Mm-hmm.
I do pray in my head, and I keep repeating it until I feel better. Also, my therapist, she told me to do like breathing exercises, so I've been kind of doing breathing exercises anytime I feel anxious or just not good.
I can teach you one too, by the way.
Uneasy. We can do
that
it.
really helps me. Yeah.
Also, like she told me to do like patting, like really just like anywhere, just pat your head, just like you're here, like this is now, like you're made of atoms and molecules, like get in the moment. And also like recently, just putting my bare feet in the grass, like grounding myself. Like being like, this is real life, like I'm not just like imagining this, like this is real. I like to just be in nature, kind of like nature walks, or just sitting in the middle of like the woods with like trees around me, just and just taking it in, and just doing alone time. I've done a lot more alone time, and like doing activities with myself. And I thought I would be lonely, but I actually had a great time like hanging out with me. And I did that for a weekend, and that was great.
I love that. Do you feel like your spirituality and like, well, would you say that you're religious or spiritual? Or both?
Both.
Okay. Do you feel like you feel one more strongly than the other? Does it depend on like the time of your life, or not necessarily?
I think I'm more spiritual. Just because religion, like the way that I was explaining before, like how I look at religion, a lot of people would probably disagree with how I look at religion. Like I always just say there's just one God, and you just sent down messengers, right? Which is like in Christianity and like Buddha and like all these religions. So I think it's more spiritual in that sense, where it's like I can go into a mosque and I will like respect the way that you guys pray. Like I'll wear hijab, but I'm gonna just pray in my own way. Like I'll do everything that I need to do in that place of worship, but I'm just gonna pray the way that I've learned to pray. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing to me. So like that's how I kind of look at it.
Do you ever feel like, and kind of bouncing around, but going back to when you mentioned some of the things you do to like help reduce anxiety and stuff, and like being present, do you ever feel like you're in like, I hope I'm saying the word right, in a simulation or something? Like,
I feel like that every day. I'm like, am I tweaking, or am I like, what's going on? Like, am I in a dream? Am I in that? I've been actually having a lot of dreams too, where I'm like waking up, I'm like, wait, like, was this a dream? Wait, like, let me look outside. Like, it's the same vibe, and I'm like, am I living in my dreams, or am I living now? Like, I don't know. Which way is it? Like, I have all those weird moments all the time. I did have those moments more when there was Mercury retrograde, which was like in April, and I was feeling wild. Like my energy, or like I don't know what was going on, but I didn't think life was real. Like for a month, I was just like this. And I also was traveling, and I was just in a lot of different places, a lot of different people, and I'm like I don't know what life is, right? Like, I don't get it. I remember I came from Paris to London, and I was catching an Uber. And then I was saying bonjour parlez anglais to the Uber driver in England, and he's like, what are you saying like to me? I'm like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, I thought we were in Paris. Like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like, that's I'm so just funny. Like discombobulated, but that was just wild. It could have just been the partying and stuff, but
okay. So I feel those ways too, and sometimes I feel like I'm fucking losing it. So I'm glad that I'm not alone. Where do you see yourself going? Not in any specific time frame, but in general.
I want to give back more to people. I've been thinking about that, like just doing things for the community, or doing things for people that are less fortunate. I haven't really gave back So that's like my next goal. I want to give back, and I've always, like, through traveling, I've always realized, like, the smallest things make people happy, and, like, people that have nothing are the happiest. Like, it's true. Like, people have, like, everything in the world. Like, I used to think that, like, money was everything at a point too, and I was like, yeah, no, like, if I get this much, like, I'll be better. Like, or if I get more money, then next year, like, it's gonna be like I'm gonna be happier. But it never was the case like that. So just kind of finding the true happiness, like the meaning of true happiness, and I think I'm, like, in it and I'm feeling it. But just kind of going deeper into that, and I think giving back to people is something that's gonna make me really happy. I've also thought about, I'm like, I do like giving a lot to people. Like, I'm a gift giver. Like, I always think about people's feelings. I note shit down in my head when I'm like, when they say something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get that for them because that's gonna make them happy. But at the end of the day, when I give you that gift, I was like, it's selfish because I just want to see that happen, because that's just gonna put my dopamine levels up. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a weird way, but I'm like, it's a good selfishness.
It's a good selfishness, but I definitely have thought about myself in that way too, because I do literally the same thing.
Yeah, like I'm tweaking out when you're opening it.
Yeah, I'm like, hurry up.
I love it.
I know your birthday's next week, but open it today. Like,
Yeah,
I want to see it.
I'm like, I can't.
Don't open it until I'm with you, because I want to see you open it. So
yeah, I'm like, if they don't, then I'm like, oh, whatever. But anyways, but yeah, like, I like making people feel good, but in turn, it always, like, makes me feel, I think, better.
Yeah. Do you think you want to give back more, like, monetary wise, or like acts of service wise?
Acts of service.
Yeah. Acts of service, I feel like, can go a long way.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way.
It's kind of like the lasting impression of whoever you're helping meeting the person helping them, but even you having that experience.
Yeah, I want to leave that imprint on people. I want to be remembered like that.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're gonna die, so, like, and I'm also scared to die. I don't want to die. I think it's.
Are you really? Oh my god! In part 2, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, part 2. Yeah, I am scared, but we'll leave that for part 2.
Yeah.
Like, just getting in tune with those type of things, like circle of life, and I'm not really. That's a little scary topic for me, but I think, like, I will, once I, get deeper into my spirituality and, like, meditation, and I want to be on, like, a monk vibe, like, low-key. You don't know. You might see me being a monk in, like, 10 years on, like, on a mountain. Like.
I'll be right there with you. We'll be sitting on little lily pads or something.
Right, just vibing, like, chilling. But, yeah.
Okay, do you think you're going to do, well, the answer is yes, but where do you think you'll do your next travels?
Well, like, I have a flight booked next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to Orlando for my best friend's birthday at Disney, which is nice, because I'm like, hey, I can't be sad at Disney ever, so, like, whatever, it's a good vibe.
Yeah.
But international, I don't know. I don't know. I've been thinking, I'm like, maybe I should just, like, put a blindfold and do, like, on the map kind of thing, and just be like, fuck it.
Have you ever been to Bali?
Yes. I went in 2022. It is a great place. The Balinese people are amazing. They're super nice. That's also a place where I was like, wow, like, they have nothing, and they're so helpful, so hardworking, and smile on their face the whole time. Like, and I'm like, and every time I leave the U.S., I'm like the U.S. is so like,
everywhere else.
What do we do in the U.S.? We in Bali, I think there was somebody said this to me, that they worked to live. We live to work. Yeah, like everywhere else, everybody works to live. We live to work. And that's
I feel that. And that's why I do, like, I don't know, I want to, like, eventually get, like, a career, because now my new goal right now is, like, to get, like, a career, basic career, to, like, fund all my real stuff I want to do with, like, creative wise and stuff, because that's where I like to, like, I don't know, that's where I'm, like, happy doing creative shit, like having a small business, doing a podcast, like, things that aren't, like, that lucrative to start, but, like, I don't know, now I'm not totally against having, like, a regular job, so I think I'm gonna get that for a little to, like, keep funding stuff like this, but I don't know, I just like working to live. Wait, or is it living to work? No, yeah, I like to work to live. I don't want to live to work.
Yeah, work to live, not live to work. No,
yeah, that's definitely
not the goal.
Yeah, that's, like, my new motto.
Yeah, I think that should be everybody's new motto. Like, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing the story of Chahat with us. I loved it. It was such vibes. And do you want people to follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, sure. It's Chahati.
Such a cute name, right? I just wanted you to say it because I loved it.
CHAHOTTIE. You can follow me on Instagram.
Period. Bye, everyone.
Bye.